What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast. Here today talking about Tennessee versus Kentucky. The Wildcats go on the road to Neyland where they will face the undefeated top 5 Tennessee Volunteers. In my opinion, I think Tennessee has the resume to be the number 1 team in the country. The AP voters don't think so, but that's something that we can discuss. While we're here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 300. We gained about 10 yesterday, and I'm trying to blow our goal of 250 out of the water. So if you hit that subscribe button, it means a lot. Now, getting into the game here, it's more than what meets the eye. Tennessee's a 12.5 point favorite, I think, as the line currently stands. Yeah, 12.5 Tennessee. Tennessee is 6-1 against the spread overall. They're 4-1 at home, 5-1 as a favorite. Kentucky, however, is 2-0 against the spread away and 3-0 against the spread as an underdog. Now, do I think that'll really come into effect? I don't know, because when you look at the rankings of these teams, Kentucky hasn't been necessarily great offensively. They struggled against South Carolina. They struggled against Ole Miss, only putting up 33 combined points in those games. Mississippi State, excuse me, you put up 27 at home. I don't think Will played that game. I could be wrong about that. Box score. Okay, he did. There was one game I feel like Will didn't play or Will was banged up, something like that. Now, I do think Will Levis is the only key that Kentucky has in this game. If Will Levis doesn't play or Will Levis has a bad game, it could be a long day for Kentucky. Because Tennessee is 129th/130th in passing yards allowed. That's awful. That's god-awful. And if Kentucky wants to win this game, Will Levis is going to have to throw the ball. Now, saying that, you're going to have to use the run game to set it up. Tennessee is allowing 90 rushing yards per game, so if you can't get a run game going, then they're just going to they're just going to force you to run the football because they know what Will is capable of. Will Levis is capable of beating any team he goes up against. He's a first-round quarterback, in my opinion. He's one of the best there is. He played really well against Mississippi. He just really didn't have a lot of help. Tennessee with Alabama, Hendon Hooker put on a freaking show. Hendon Hooker's put on a show against everybody. However, I think Alabama's really the only quality, well, at the time, the only quality opponent that they had played. Florida is not good. I'm not trying to discredit Tennessee in any way, but Florida is not a good football team. And LSU is still bottom half of the SEC West. I think Ole Miss, although they didn't win the game, is a better football team. I think Mississippi State, who should have beat Ole Miss on the road, is a better football team. Mississippi State's I think they're 0-3 in road games this year. So do what you will with that. And LSU kind of turned a corner after Tennessee beat them by 27. Tennessee's put up 571 yards per game, allowing 420. Now, where you allow 420 yards per game is basically in that 3-game stretch, to Florida, LSU, and Alabama, because Tennessee Martin is not putting up yards, much less points. They did score 24, which is kind of weird, but also, Hendon Hooker was pulled at the second quarter, and then Akron 6 points. So I think he played Ball State or Bowling Green to start the season. So it's just these numbers are kind of skewed a little bit, but it is what it is. I think in order for Kentucky to win this game, Kentucky's defense has to show out. Kentucky isn't necessarily terrible defensively. Their rankings don't look that good. They're 51st in passing yards allowed, 108th in rushing yards. They're 74th in yards per play. They're 38th in points. Even in their losses, they held Ole Miss to 22 and they held South Carolina to 24. You held Mississippi State to 17. So if you can keep Tennessee in the 30s, you have a chance to win the game. Okay, but you're going to score a lot of points. I don't know. See if I can look up Tennessee's total here. More lines, team total. Tennessee is at 39.5. If Tennessee's over hits, if they score 40 plus, they're going to win the game. Kentucky's not going to keep pace with them. If you look at the Florida game, they scored 38 and won by 5. I don't know if Kentucky is capable of putting up 34, 35 points and winning the game with that. But that's the only chance they're going to have. I don't see you slowing down Tennessee's offense that much. Now, you could have a situation where Tennessee pulls a Clemson, hands the ball over 4 times to the opposing team at home, and then still come back to win the game. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Hendon Hooker is going to get benched for a backup. I just say that's what Kentucky has to have in order to win this football game. They're going to have to force a lot of turnovers. They're going to have some big plays on special teams. And that's something that they don't typically – well, Tennessee doesn't typically do. I mean, Hendon Hooker has 1 interception this year. I think he had 3 or 4 last year. Throwing for over 2,000 yards. Will Levis has already turned the ball over 5 times. Now, Kentucky's problem is Will Levis has been sacked a ton. I'm going to pull up that stat really quick. Sacks allowed here. Kentucky has allowed – how quick can I find this? A lot of sacks. I know that for a fact. Okay, I'm at the least amount of sacks here. Kentucky's probably at the other end. They are. Kentucky's 125th in the country in sacks allowed with 26. Would have had that stat available, but it kind of just popped in my mind. So, for Tennessee, run the football, get some sacks, get some pressure on Will Levis, and make them run the football, essentially. I think you're going to have a field day getting pressure on Will. Then that's another reason why Kentucky, if you want to win the game, you're going to have to establish a run game. You're going to have to win 3rd down. You're going to have to get turnovers, and you're going to have a big play on special team. That's really the only option that you have here, because I just don't see you matching up to this Tennessee team. Now, you could surprise me. You could backdoor cover plus 12.5 because it is a rivalry game. It's a look-ahead spot. I think I put that on the graphic a second ago. It's a look-ahead spot for Tennessee. You go on the road to Georgia next week. That is your SEC championship game. It don't matter if you make it to the SEC championship game. If you lose that one, you're out. So that is your SEC championship game. It's a perfect look-ahead spot. It's a perfect spot for Kentucky to go plus 12.5. I don't know if I like it. Maybe a gut check feeling I'll put out on Twitter on Friday night or Saturday morning. So hit that subscribe button, follow us on there, and let me know in the comment section what you guys think this score will be, how this game is going to play out, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow or next week with more preview videos.